Hello, everybody, and welcome to M2 Esports. Today, our Michigan Tech Huskies League of Legends team is going to be taking on UT Tyler, the University of Texas Tyler, in the Playfly League. I'm Aiden.
And I'm Connor.
And we hope that you enjoy today's game. So, on the docket for today, Michigan Tech. They lost their last game in a decently large stomp, but they did win that first one, so they are going to be 1-1. So hoping for redemption today, hoping to put themselves as a presence back on the mind of everybody in their league after what we've seen happening. We are going to be getting some pick and bans up here shortly for you guys, as you can see here. Little bit change of schedule. We'll be going after your weekly schedule after this, but starting off, we have Michigan Tech banning Shen and UT Tyler banning Wukong.
All right, so it just looks like UT Tyler right now trying to focus on those jungle bans. Wukong, a very strong pick in the meta right now. And obviously Michigan Tech, Shen obviously being that great support top flexibility. We don't want to have that in team fights. So far, I'm really liking the picks. We're going to go Echo as our second ban.
Echo.
Maybe just trying to target the jungle. Braum as the second ban for UT Tyler. Now, Braum, again, a very strong meta pick in the support lane, can combo very well with a lot of different champions in the ADC role. So it's interesting to see how UT Tyler are more focused on that supportive side banning versus Michigan Tech, where they're a bit more upfront. They're more scared of these hyper scaling and hyper defensive teams.
Yeah, the Michigan Tech, that's kind of what they struggled with last time, what we saw in last week's game, is being able to keep the pace pretty steady up until it came into those big team fights. We saw them losing a lot of the early advantages that they had gained when they were unable to capitalize on even being a man up in some of these team fights and getting completely shut down. So potentially taking last week as a lesson for what they're looking for this week with trying to ban some of these agents that are a lot more prominent in those team fights. It does look like UT Tyler has changed their ban to Soraka here. Soraka. And they're also going to be banning Vex, with Michigan Tech responding with a V or Vi ban. So, how are we feeling about that?
So I do like the Vi. Vi very good at isolating those targets. And I know from what I've seen of our Michigan Tech games, we really put a lot of focus in our mid and bot laner because that's where we want to funnel the gold. That's where the damage is on our team. So we want to take away picks like Vi that can really isolate our more weaker champions so that we can be able to focus more on getting explosive damage out on these fights. And we immediately see Michigan Tech going with that Kog'Maw, one of those hyper scaling ADCs. So we definitely are showing a lot more of this front-to-back team comp that we don't want UT Tyler to pick off.
Yeah, and UT Tyler actually may be picking Caitlyn as their first champion there, potentially wanting to have some of that more bottom lane presence with a bit more of that poke damage. Not really. We know Michigan Tech in the past has gone for a lot of these brawl-heavy comps that rely on close-range combat, and Caitlyn a great pick to come out and, you know, counter some of that with just doing that shit, making sure that Michigan Tech can never really feel comfortable, be at 100% HP at all the time. And we also, there we have seen UT Tyler, they did ban that Vex. Why do you think UT Tyler is going for Vex given what they've banned so far?
Well, Vex has one of those great mid lane abilities of being able to control the lane. Sure, she isn't really very prominent in, say, the later game. We really see her strong area in the mid lane, or in, sorry, not the mid lane, the mid game. So maybe UT Tyler just scared of Michigan Tech's almost scaling ability. I mean, when you're taking picks away like Vi and Shen, that really tells UT Tyler that they want a hyper scaling comp. So they want to take away something like Vex that can kind of be that neutral ground for Michigan Tech.
Yeah, and it looks like the second pick here from UT Tyler is going to be Lux. So potentially working on building up their comp here as we wait for Michigan Tech to come in, and it is going to be a refresh. Okay, so Michigan Tech, they have picked Braum, potentially seeing that hover from UT Tyler on the ban and wanting to capitalize that. They've also picked Ornn. How do we feel about that?
So Ornn is obviously a great frontliner. He's one of the strongest top laners in the game, in my opinion. He has great CC, he has great tankiness. The Braum as well, being able to support that Kog'Maw really well, especially in a long-range poke of UT Tyler's comp. The Caitlyn Lux combo, one of the most classic real bot lane compositions that we've seen as of late. So it's really great to see Michigan Tech go for a lot more of these tankier options, and that allows that Kog'Maw to just be a whole lot better in the long run.
Yeah, Michigan Tech going to be banning Garen with UT Tyler's ban on Jarvan here, as UT Tyler, excuse me, also picks into the Lilia. So
Very interesting from UT Tyler. We're already seeing two strong AP champions, and neither of them are a mid lane mage. So maybe UT Tyler being a bit too AP focused here. They might be might be having three AP champions, which is never good. I mean, it's good for Michigan Tech.
yeah.
But UT Tyler, maybe a little bit of a mistake with their comp. I mean, Lilia is very good on these sort of controls. She's very fast, has great jungle clear. So maybe UT Tyler just want to prioritize that early game.
Yeah, it's going to be a ban of Yone here for UT Tyler and a Mordekaiser ban coming out from Michigan Tech. Mordekaiser ban's interesting to me because Mordekaiser has been a champion that Michigan Tech has liked to pick into a lot of the time. I know that Craftinator loves that top lane Mordekaiser, and we've seen him dominate a lot of team fights and just control the pace of the game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out last week, but the week before I had to attribute a lot of Michigan Tech success in some of their maps to his Mordekaiser. So potentially them being scared of what UG Tyler could bring out on that Mordekaiser, not wanting that amount of brawl. It's going to be the Trundle pick for Michigan Tech, followed up by the Silas pick. And the Dr. Mundo pick for UT Tyler. So we have Michigan Tech's full comp here now. How do we feel about this? What are they going for?
No, Michigan Tech, it does look like they're going for more front to back. Are
Ooh,
they
a
going to go
Kali
for a
instead of Silas.
Kali? Interesting. Now, Michigan Tech, I might want to see a bit more of a scaling mid laner. Akali is an assassin, right? So she's going to be very good getting into that backline of Caitlyn and Lux, and even taking down their jungler, Lilia. UT Tyler do go for the Mundo, though, which does act as a great blocker towards these assassin comps because he's one of the most tanky and health-resistant champions in the game. But it looks like they're going to send Dr. Mundo maybe in the mid lane and send Teemo top. No, it's going to be the Anivia in the mid lane. So we were right about UT Tyler. They have 3 AP champions and then a Dr. Mundo and Caitlyn. So it is very interesting having 3 AP. Merc Treads and other AP or magic resisting tank items are going to be very strong for Michigan Tech. So right now at the start of the game, before we even see these players, I am thinking Michigan Tech has the better team comp.
Yeah, and for those of the people watching at home who might be less familiar with the game, what do you mean when you talk about AP in regards to these champions?
Of course. So in League of Legends, there's 2 different ways that you can deal damage. There's attack damage, which is just your standard, say, normal base damage, and then there's ability power, which is a different type altogether. You'll see attack damage on things like bruisers, things like tanks, things like your AD carries or your bot laners. These are just your standard physical damage. AP, on the other hand, comes more from abilities, things like your mages and your supports. That's where a lot of the more explosive damage per se can come from. And we see that with UT Tyler going with someone like Lux and Anivia, who have a lot of AP scaling. So it is interesting to see that Michigan Tech having a bit more of a balanced comp in terms of those ratios. You generally don't want to be heavy on one side compared to the other in that damage balance because it allows the other team to build those tankier items that just target the specific damage that you're really going for. So in this case, Michigan Tech can build against ability power because they have so many tanks and because UT Tyler has so many ability power champions.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see that coming out on a good side here for Michigan Tech. While we wait for them to get into the game and actually do their draft and picks in the game and as well as the spectator delay, we'd like to take a moment here to talk about our schedule for the upcoming week. So it looks like on Friday, our Super Smash Bros. Team actually did win against Ohio State in a sweeping 2-0, which very good, very proud of our Smash team. They kind of dominating in the league right now, certainly leaving nothing to be desired when it comes from a casual spectator for me. And then today, on Monday, we have our League of Legends team taking on the University of Texas Tyler, which, you know, fingers crossed for our Huskies. We'll be walking away with this and perhaps even a sweet 2-0 as well. On Tuesday, our Rocket League team will be taking on Brock University, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
All right, and now for our remaining games of the week. On Wednesday, we have our Overwatch team again against UT Tyler. Hopefully, if we win this game, we'll be able to win the game, the Overwatch game as well. We can get 2 wins on UT Tyler in 1 week alone. That would be fantastic. On Thursday at 7 p.m., we have our Valorant team going up against Akron University. Now, our Valorant team still yet to find their first map, so hopefully we can see a great rebound for our Valorant team against a potentially a more weaker university. And on Friday, we have our penultimate Smash team, or ultimate Smash team, going up against Rochester Institute of Technology. And I don't see how we have any doubts about that one. We're having a great schedule for this week on our hands.
Yeah, we've had an absolute phenomenal run, especially with Super Smash Bros. Right now. Like you said, Valorant, we're still looking for our first game, but you know, me and the boys, we've been locking in, trying to bring you guys a show that'll hopefully end up with us winning a map so that there's at least something that you can talk about after you tune in for those games. I'd like to get into our player introductions now, considering that we didn't do those before we came to the picks and bans, while we're still waiting for spectator delay in the game. So for MTU, it's a standard lineup the boys and girls you guys have always been proud of while you're tuning in here. We have the Craftinator, who is your captain. who is going to be talking in that bottom lane. We have Echo, who's Sunless, in that mid lane. We have Griffin, Music Tabs, in the top lane. We have Brandon Nugtart in your jungle, and Erica or Cran as your support.
As for UT Tyler, we have Wilder, aka Amy J, as our team captain for them. We've got Morgan S on Dead Doll Syndrome. We have Sarisa J as Dust Rose. We've got Blake H as Nasty Samurai. We've got Luke H as SQ Straw, and we have TJL as TEEJ.
Yeah, so interesting lineup here. Some opponents for our Michigan Tech Huskies to take on. Obviously, I have faith in them. I know you do, and I know that everybody watching, unless you're from UT Tyler, has faith in our Huskies to be able to take them down as well. So, like we said, while we wait for that spectator delay here, we can just talk about our expectations for this game. I know me personally, I want to see a little bit more controlled play coming out from Michigan Tech. They had a lot of good play that first week, but last week, it kind of felt like it was falling apart in some moments. We had to see them improve on their ability to restrain themselves when it came to chasing fights, feeling the need to go for those hero plays. We didn't see them offering up their lives for no reason as much as we did during that first week of games. But we didn't really see Michigan Tech with a controlled approach to the game, it felt like. There's a lot of missed abilities. I know especially for Nug, there were a lot of times when he was in a crucial ability spot, for example, the ability to block and ult, and it felt like we were either panicked or just overreacting, and we weren't able to get our abilities done at the same time. So I want to see Michigan Tech with that more structured approach to the game. Be intentional with the utility and the abilities that they are activating. You know, be intentional with the placements of, is our jungler going to be farming? Are we going to be moving up top to go for a gank? Things like that. It's that word intentional that I want to see coming out from Michigan Tech, because it felt like a lot of that was lacking last game.
Yeah, absolutely, Aiden. Speaking of structure with this game, I really want to have MTU focus on their jungle and their mid to late game. From what the games that I've seen, there has been a lot of times where the lack of vision has costed MTU either a death or a kill, and not in the good ways. So I mean, I've seen a scenario, for example, where we've had 4 MTU members sitting in a bush, completely unknown to the enemy, where a Nautilus walks right next to them, but because they don't have that vision, they aren't able to get that free kill that they really desperately need in some of these situations. So I'm really looking for their jungle, I'm looking for the mid laner, I'm looking for the support, I'm looking to see a lot more of these mid-round macro situations to where, again, we can have a bit more of a structured idea of how we want to approach the game moving forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like you know, when you have that preparation, half the battle that you're fighting is already won. That's just how it works. And so it doesn't matter how good they are in these team fights if, you know, everybody's feeling themselves, they're having a heater of a game. It's that proactive ability, that proactive placement of utility that I think is going to be important if we want to see Michigan Tech coming out with this win today. Things like, do we need to be prioritizing, you know, like getting even just scuttle crabs online earlier so we have that extra vision? Do we need to have more people dedicated to placing wards so that we have these things available so that we're not caught off guard? Because like you said, there were a lot of times when Michigan Tech would group up, not necessarily for a team fight, but hey, we want to dedicate 4 players because we're going to be going for Baron. We're going to be going for some sort of Drake, and we get completely walked up on, don't have the vision that's required in order to take down, you know, whatever our objective is. We get caught by surprise, and that's just how it goes. So getting quickly into the action here, we're going to see Michigan Tech on the blue team, all 5 players together right now. So potentially an idea for an early invade for Michigan Tech if they can find the opportunity to do so, if UTT is not going to be expecting that. It looks like they're going to be making their way into these bottom bushes. So taking it very sneaky. This does look like it's going to be an early team fight coming up from Michigan Tech unless they decide to split up.
Now what we're seeing from UT Tyler, they're playing very passive. They're aware of this push that's coming from MTU, but the Lux is still caught out.
Yeah, it's just completely stunned, just knocked up, and there's not going to be anything. That's going to be the first feat of first blood there, claimed for Michigan Tech. Now going to be backing off. I really like this. A lot of what we've seen throughout their past games is not having the feats online, not getting those or moving into those boots upgrade. They would only ever get one of either the first blood or feat of warfare and things like that. And so I'm excited to see Michigan Tech being, like I said, more proactive with their placement, trying to make sure they can get these important utility prioritizations done early on. And it looks like all of MTU is still going to be grouping up in the bottom there, at least your jungle, your carry, and your bottom laner. So interesting from MTU right here.
So it just looks like MTU, even though they got that jungle kill and took that reset, they are just going to look to leash for their jungler to try to get this Trundle online. Again, The Lilia has a very strong clear. It might be stronger than Trundle, so we want to see it get online to set up more of these ganks before the Lilia and her speed catch up. And speaking of the Lilia, we saw the immediate response out from UT Tyler. We saw the Lilia and the Mundo getting ready for this blue side invade. The Lilia taking MTU's blue side. I forgot what it was called. Uh, yeah, but regardless, a fantastic start for Michigan Tech here. I love that it's on the bot lane too. I mean, this Caitlyn Lux combo, very strong in the early game. And so it's great to see Michigan Tech having that very straightforward approach. We want to shut down their early game as much as possible to give us more room in the late game.
Yeah, I think that it's very important here because that's something that Michigan Tech struggled with a lot of the time during those last games. And so just not being able to have that late game presence, even when we had tried to build comps that scaled into the last game, just not having that stuff online, I think being able to gain these early advantages so that if, a team fight or two doesn't work out later down the line, they're not completely caught off guard. So it is going to be just a little bit of poke and prod here in that bottom lane. Teach going to be brought down to 2 bars here, walking back, but a good either stun or a good route there coming out from UTT to allow TJ or Tej to back off. It is going to be Sunless potentially in the mid lane. No, dropping back down to the bottom lane here. We are going to see still more poking and prodding. It feels like Michigan Tech. You can feel the tension in the air as they want to go for one of these team fights here. You can see how they really want a mistake to come up from UTT, but UTT just biding their time, so not too much happening right now down there.
All right, speaking of our team comps, the Trundle going in for a gank. The Mundo doesn't have any dashes. He's getting very low, and he's taken down by Music Tabs.
That's going to be a huge kill from Music Tabs here. Michigan Tech not only one away from getting that second feed online and securing boots buff this early into the game. So a really good pick on the top lane there from Music Tabs, potentially an overextension coming out from UTT. As an MTU fan, I have to say, I hope we see more of this play from UTT, because if they're just going to keep feeding us free kills like this could be a pretty quick game.
Yeah, I guess maybe UT Tyler didn't expect the jungle to be pathing top. I mean, they should have known, though, that the Trundle was starting in the bot lane and was going to end up top. Oh, you hate to see that as an MTU fan. The support Braum just getting caught out there from the Caitlyn Q.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Potentially a little bit of an overextension, but nothing to be scared of yet, as we still are leading both in gold and in kills, and UTT still needing 2 kills in order to steal that feat of warfare away from us. So it is this poking and prodding here in the bottom lane. We have Tej and Craftinator going at it. Just kind of still doing that chip damage as we had talked about before, so trying to get those minions farmed, trying to get that XP farmed up. Looks like Straw in that mid lane is also going to be hitting level 5, so no longer that level advantage for Michigan Tech. More poking and prodding. They love doing this little bit of poke to Oh, it's going to be a big fight coming from Sunless here. Straw backing off at, just a sliver of HP. Sunless opting not to go for that dive, potentially scared of, the mid lane ability to back off. Yes, you can see here on the minimap here, it looks like the jungle for UTT rotating into that mid lane to be able to help them out in that mid lane, but Michigan Tech drawing that jungle away could allow us to go for a 3v2 in the bottom lane here if Nug can get online fast enough. It's also a fight going on in the top lane here. Music Tabs and Shemai not opting to not go for the dive again, but you can see, yes, here in the bottom lane here, you can see 3 members of Michigan Tech are support bottom lane and RGT. And Treacher's going to be
so low,
and that's the feat of warfare for Michigan Tech in a double kill. Cran slaying Jessient. That is huge.
Look at Sunless flashes in!
That's a crazy flash. Sunless on to Dust Rose. And just like that, UTT left reeling. Where did it go wrong? In the span of 30 seconds, they've lost 3 players. And this is going to be a huge early game advantage from MTU coming out now. Over a 2K gold lead, and we aren't even 6 minutes into the game.
I mean, we were talking about how MTU really needed to get to the late game. Never mind that. Their early game looks just as strong. We're seeing all of UTT just getting caught out. Because of this great Akali pressure, the Lilia has forced to go into mid and leave the bottom side completely defenseless. So it gives room for the Trundle to really sneak in. That poke from MTU already chipping down the Caitlyn and Lux so low. And by the time their jungler actually gets there, it's just a clean sweep. They get the freeze kill that Nug has ever seen, and then the Akali getting getting the solo bolo on the Lilia is just the cherry on top.
Yeah, I just want to compliment Michigan Tech's timing from Sunless there in that mid lane, opting to not go in until they had that knowledge for certain that the jungle for UTT was pulled down towards that towards that bottom lane. So whether that was just a reaction from UTT or whether it was a plan for Michigan Tech completely
there's the
formulated.
Ornal. There's no
the
shield.
Oriental. He's gonna be knocked back, and Music Tab's just dominating that top lane. And just UTT, it feels like they're walking on ice right now. Nowhere their feet can find have like a strong foundation for them to stand. It's just, have they had all 5 members alive at one time since the beginning of the game? This is great to see from MTU. This little fight in the bottom lane here too. Also, Craftnator going in our Teach here is going to be
the killing's
big
low.
dive, and Teach, he
That's
steps
another kill.
backwards. Craftnator on that killing streak, and Craftnator opting to go for that dive. The jungler rotating in for UTT, but it's going to be the bottom lane there for UTT backing up for the tower with a sliver of HP.
Jungle, and
But the
there's
jungle, look, there's 4 people here now. It's going to be a huge gank for Michigan Tech. Cran and Craftnator on a rampage. 9-1 for Michigan Tech. This is just beautiful to witness. The rotations from Michigan Tech are just so perfect. As soon as UTT realizes that they are in over their heads and they try to back off, you have that additional rotate in from Michigan Tech from their jungle. Even we saw their mid lane coming down there to that bottom lane to help, and UTT, they're already low in health. They have no way of backing off. It's a 2v4 when both the players on UTT have no health to deal with. And this is going to be the Drake now, secured for Michigan Tech. This start is phenomenal.
Okay. I mean, what a great team fight from MTU there. I mean, it looked like UTT just getting a bit overextensive. They don't have the gold and the items. They don't have the XP to really go for this. So when they do go in, all that MTU really has to do is just push them all the way back, and their jungle isn't anywhere near in time in order to support these bottom lanes. And by the time they actually do get there, the Caitlyn's already dead. The Akali, the Trundle are already rotating over. Oh, that's another kill for MTU.
Onto Dust Rose there, and Shamal just left to step back, retreat into a corner and lick his wounds as it is going to be UTT with the Void Grubs there, but still a horrible situation for UTT coming out here. Down by over 4K before the 10-minute mark. And we also did see Michigan Tech take the Cloud Drake there, so that is going to give them Cloudbringer's Grace, which is going to give them not only resistance to slows, but also going to give them that out-of-combat movement speed. So the situation kind of going from bad to worse there for UTT. Michigan Tech taking advantage of that early pressure they had created to secure these early buffs. And this first Drake buff for Michigan Tech is exactly what I wanted to see. Because if you'll think back and remember to last game, they had no Drakes. And this just proving Craftnator unstoppable. And it's going to be a dive onto the tower and a double kill for Michigan Tech. Saying that tower, I don't care. It doesn't scare me. Not when you have somebody as weak as the bot lane for UTT cowering behind it. It's a punish coming out from the jungler here for UTT, but he's unable to do anything. Craftnator, a mere mortal among men, no longer, as he completely takes down the jungle for UTT, followed up by the mid lane there for Michigan Tech, shutting down UTT. This is phenomenal to witness.
I mean, yeah, sure, the Nivea does get that shutdown on the Akali, but look at the lane, 68 CS. 3 kills on the Akali to just the 1 and 55 CS on the Nivea. And you look everywhere else, we're beating them in CS. We have 2 kills, 3 plates in the top lane, and our bot lane is just on a tear. I mean, this is looking anything but UT Tyler's game at the moment.
Yeah.
The only good thing that we're really seeing, other than the 2 kills, they did get the Void Grubs, but they don't even get the triple buff to get those minions to spawn when they do tower damage. And I mean, how can this get any worse for UT Tyler?
Yeah, I want to take a moment to point out here, Craftnator, 7-0 right now. He has double the amount of kills, I believe, that MTU got during one of their games last week.
Yeah, I mean, he has the same amount of assists that UT Tyler has on their entire team for kills.
Yeah, it's pretty much in a phenomenal performance out of him so far. This is really good to witness here, and I just want to take a moment
Lily's gonna get caught out.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a good stun there. A little bit of a 2v2 here. We're going to see the mid lane and jungle for UTT fighting Michigan Tech. Oh, going to be set asleep, Kren there, but not to worry, going to be backing off. It's going to be a little bit of that pressure here in this bottom lane. Looks like a little bit of Michigan Tech just opting to play back here. So as somebody
Oh,
who's...
the Akali goes in.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good dive there.
Caitlyn.
Ooh, and
Does not
it's
land the
2v1, but
shuriken.
Teach is also low, and it's
Oh,
going to
he
be a
flashes.
huge flash!
He ults in.
Sunless taking down Teach, and that is going to be a massive kill. 15-2 for Michigan Tech here. What can UTT do to stop this? It's a 2v1 here, also in this mid lane. Straw's jungle completely leaving them alone. It's going to be low HP on Craftlander here, but just opting to back off. Cran's still there as a steady back for the support. That tower, that tier 1 tower in the mid lane for UTT down to almost half HP here. We're going to see Straw continuing to bleed out in that mid lane.
Was Straw's TPing
He's
bot
TPing
lane?
bot lane?
Oh, but he catches
For what?
Sunless.
That is just...
Ooh, just get
I
that.
don't know if I like that TP though. That ability is going to be on cooldown now for a long time, and there wasn't really a good punish there coming down from UTT. Potentially wanted to preserve some of that tower health, but I mean the damage is pretty much already done. It feels like Michigan Tech and
Sunless
Sunless
goes in. He gets the
he
Navia
gets the
passing.
kill. But is he going to be able to take
Does
out
he have
the
the
egg
damage?
before?
No, he
No,
doesn't.
he does not. So the mid lane there for UTT going to be able to back off, lick their wounds like we had mentioned before, farm a little bit more of these minions, but still forcing that out of UTT, that is going to be a pretty big advantage there for Michigan Tech. And now Connor, you're somebody who's well versed in League of Legends. Tell me the implications of being ahead by 6,500 gold before plates fall.
I mean, 6,500 gold at under 13 minutes is an absurd gold lead to have. 15-2 kills. I mean, this is basically a League of Legends player's dream at this point. I mean, when you have that confidence as well to go for that 2v1 that we saw the Akali did and manage to get a kill and escape with your life, I mean, MTU, not only do they have the gold advantage, they have the mentality advantage. We see Sunless with the confidence he goes in.
The big dive there, and he's ISO Dustro. Still going to be in that 2v1 though. It is going to be the minion, however, locked onto Dustros here. So kind of a 1.5v1, but Sunless going to be cut off, and it is going to be taken down. Not a lot they could do there. But in response, Blue Team is going to be taking the Chemtech Drake. Looks like we will be getting Ocean Soul for
MTU
our
going in.
third thing.
Oh,
a big team fight coming in here. This is Dustros and Chester.
Oh, but look at the combat damage.
Oh, but that is going to be Nub completely shut down. But Dustros also going to be isolated out in the open. This is going to be 2 members of MTU at healthy amounts of HP. Oh, and it's going to be a flash out from Craft Leader onto the side and stunning the mid lane there for UTT. This is a great response from Michigan Tech coming out. It's also a music tab in the top lane, diving Shamal.
Oh, that's a solo kill.
Down. That is a solo kill from Music Tabs, continuing his reign of dominance. And that is going to be turret plating falling as the turret itself falls for UTT in that top lane. Music Tabs, what can he do wrong? My mind cannot think of anything in this moment. Just a shutdown game coming out from Michigan Tech. And that is going to be Michigan Tech claiming all 3 of the initial feats. Feat of Warfare, First Blood, and the first turret. What better start could you ask for from our MTU squad today?
I mean, the tower platings just fell, and already 1 turret claimed for Michigan Tech. This is going fantastic. That gold lead only growing bigger, and there's some more mid pressure. The Lux getting so low, he flashes out, but it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. It's Cran and Craftnator in that mid lane going to be going for that punish. They want this turret, and they want it right now. Same in the bottom lane. Michigan Tech wants that turret in the bottom lane. It is a 1v1 in the bottom lane, but this 1v2 for Tej in the mid lane here for Michigan Tech and UTT. Going to be backing off for MTU just for now. I want to take a moment to highlight the importance of that Chemtech Drake that Michigan Tech did secure. This is something that we've talked about as being important in our last couple of matches, because what that Chemtech Drake buff does is it basically reduces the amount of effect and the duration that crowd control effects like stun, slows, and roots are going to have on our Michigan Tech players. So anything that UTT could come out with, as you've seen there, when Michigan Tech players get isolated and they're stunned and things like that, that's going to last for a shorter period of time. We're also going to see Michigan Tech taking the Rift Herald here now. So that is going to be pretty important, especially given how low some of these towers are. A summon onto that Rift Herald could pretty easily take down some of these towers, given how low they are.
Yeah, and additionally with that, Michigan Tech having those tools to really hit these towers from long range. That Kog'Maw, a great offensive tool to take a lot of these towers down. And you have tanks like the Braum, you have the Ornn, who most likely have demolished. I mean, these towers for UT Tyler are very weak, even though they might have health on them. It's very scary. It's going to be very hard for UT Tyler to keep them alive, and especially with the solo lane pressure that Michigan Tech is providing right now. This Akali having full confidence against
just
the
completely
Zenithia.
going in. Straw backing
There's
off,
the
and a
ult!
huge ult from Michigan Tech, and Sunless has taken down Oh, it's taking down Straw. That is going to be pretty important. And one thing I want to notice here, so has UT Tyler's mid lane pivoted to the bottom lane? Have they gone for a swap? Because I think this is the second or third time you've seen Straw playing around this bottom lane when they did start the game in that mid lane.
Yeah, so when you do have this great gold lead on the bot lane, you typically don't want to send it bot again. But there's another team fight.
And Craftinator
and
just
there's the
with
dive.
another kill. Blue team summoning the Rift Herald, saying that this turret, yeah, that's not going to be around for much longer. As the turret gets destroyed before the Rift Herald can even get onto it. And this is Michigan Tech with an incredible amount of positioning in this middle here, wanting to protect this Rift Herald as it takes the tier 2 mid lane turret down to a sliver of HP, down to a fraction, and that's going to be the tier 2 turret for UTT taken down. And this is going to be Dustro, the jungler here, and Cran on a killing spree as the jungle for UTT goes down. This is 3 members from Michigan Tech diving the tier 3 turret for UTT before we hit the 18-minute mark in this game. It is going to be Michigan Tech opting to play their time, backing up a little bit, but that is a massive use of the Rift Herald. Getting not only the tier 1, but tier 2 turret cleared out in that mid lane. It's just devastation if you are a fan of UTT right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dustro is getting completely caught out there. He was in a 3v1 with the turret going down. He had to invest his ult. He had to invest his flash. And in the meantime, Straw completely cut out in an island. He's surrounded by 3 members of Michigan Tech. He doesn't even get his passive off. He's taken down immediately.
Yeah, that Resurrect gonna do nothing when you have 4 people standing there making sure that you can't get that ability off. And just 25-4 now. I mentioned it earlier. Oh, and yep, and this is going to be...
That's another kill.
Jessiante, is that the support for UTT? Yes, the support for UTT also going to be ISO there. A little bit hard to fight when the person that you're supposed to be supporting is also dead and
Music
buried.
Tabs in a 1v2.
Oh, and that's going to be a big ult for Music Tabs here. And this is going to be, a big Sunless using the ult there to dive. Music Tabs on that rampage. Sunless also going to be taking down Shamal. And there's another 2 huge kills coming out
Look at
for
the
the side of Michigan Tech. But, oh my gosh. Craftinator just raining down devastation. Some could call him unlucky considering that he's currently 13-0, but Michigan Tech has nothing to say but ring the praises right now, as he is responsible for almost half of the kills that they have so far. We are 19 minutes into the game, and Michigan Tech has more kills than the final kills of the team that they went up against last week in both of the games that they lost.
Yeah, and it almost looks like UT Tyler are just getting a bit cocky. That Caitlyn, they know they're in a 1v2. They still try to defend this bot turret, and they pay their life for it. In the top lane, they had the right idea. They had 2 members on the isolated Ornn, but they just waited for far too long. That gives Sunless so much time to set up that flank. And when you have such fed members as pretty much everyone on your team, there's no way that any 2v2, regardless of your positioning, can go in.
A big fight here. It's going to be Sunless flashing on a teach, and he's just instantly going to take him down. Craftinator going legendary. Sunless going in. It's going to be a double kill coming out from Michigan Tech. And at this point, I just don't know what UTT can do to recover. I believe was that a level 10 support for UTT against the level 14s coming out from Michigan Tech. It's going to be the tier 3 turret in the mid lane destroyed for UTT. The inhibitor for Michigan Tech also going to be destroyed there. They're them destroying the UTT inhibitor, I should say. It's going to be the towers here coming down for Michigan Tech, and this is going to be the turrets destroyed for UTT.
But they don't have a wave.
Oh, yeah, they don't have a way to break through that last one, but this is still just incredible pressure from Michigan Tech onto the base here from UTT as one turret stands
they're going in.
between the nexus. Is going to be the big ult coming out from Music Tabs there. And
it's going down,
and this is going to be a huge Sunless on the killing spree. It's going to be 3 members alive for UTT as they back up towards their spawn, as that turret is going to be going down for them. And this is Michigan Tech onto the nexus. What can UTT do but sit and wait for the inevitable half HP on the Nexus? Music Tabs dominating. Dustro's unable to fight back in. And this is the Nexus going to be destroyed for UTT. What a phenomenal kill. The ace for Craftinator continuing his reign of dominance against UTT. I believe that was a flawless round for him. Was that 18-0 at the end there? He was at 13 before he aced, so...
I mean, does it matter? Once you reach past that threshold, any kill is just obsolete for our bot laner. I mean, that number is just so high. He had so many kills. He might have had more kills than minutes played in the game.
I think he did. That was just a phenomenal thing to witness. Just complete and utter domination for Michigan Tech onto the side of UTT there. I'd be surprised. They're obviously reeling. They have at least one more match to play, but that kind of felt like a death blow for Michigan Tech before they're even able to be supposed to deliver a death blow. How do you recover mentally from just getting utterly boomed like that?
I mean, maybe UT Tyler were getting a little cocky. They did get caught out many times, and just not even like 3v2s, and just pure 1v1s or 2v2s. They just had that confidence that maybe they could win that team fight. But when you're down so much gold and so much experience, and you have the mentality that's been plummeting for UT Tyler, but uprising for Michigan Tech at an alarming rate, I mean, none of these team fights are ever going to go UT Tyler's way. And I think that's what really got them. They tried to maybe finesse a way back. They tried to go for hero plays and opportunities. They stayed in lane a bit too long. And Michigan Tech, a great punish game with the Kog'Maw, with the Akali, with these champions that deal so much damage in just a fraction of a second, just catching UT Tyler completely off guard.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cockiness that I'd say. I think it's almost desperation. It doesn't really feel to me like UTT is cocky when it comes to the plays they're trying to go for, but more so they feel like they have to be the one that needs to go for a hero play to get the team back on their feet. And that can be extremely problematic. It's something that, I've experienced when it comes to playing Valorant in a very competitive environment where things start going badly for your team. They lose to that early invade. They lose the couple of feats early on. Maybe Michigan Tech claims that first Cloud Drake there. So they're starting to fall behind on gold levels, on the buffs available to either team. And instead of being able to take a moment, reset, formulate what kind of plan they want to use to approach the latter half of the game, everybody feels like they need to be the individual that steps up. If I don't, win this 1v1, even if it's an extension, things are going to be even worse for us. And it's things like that, I think, that can be extremely problematic. Just feeling like they have to be the one that goes for that hero play to regain some sort of an advantage in the game. And then when it inevitably doesn't work out, because it's not going to work out most of the time, they're left in an even worse situation, a worse state than they had been previously.
Yeah, I mean, what an unfortunate game for UT Tyler. I mean, when you're losing that hard, that can be an incredibly hard game to really bounce back on. I mean, losing in what, sub 20 minutes in a League of Legends games that usually go on till 30 or 40.
I think
This
it was
can be
21 or 22
21,
minutes.
22 minutes. I thought it was 19.
I think the top thing at the top said 20.
Well,
At least,
regardless,
but
when you lose that fast in this much of a blowout, we do, even though we are their opponents, we do want to see UT Tyler maybe have a bit more of a rebound. I mean, it must be devastating for their players to lose that hard. But I mean, granted, it is fantastic for the Huskies to win by that big of a margin.
yeah, the only thing that I have to say that UTT can hopefully take away when it comes to the mental aspect of this is that after a complete blowout like that, it is possible to just say GG go next, because while you might feel better about your performance had this game gone on for 40 minutes, maybe they lose, to a last cumulative team fight where everybody's giving it their all, but things just don't go things just don't go their way. Even though you can feel good about your performance that game, sometimes it can feel like you feel emotionally devastated after that. And so after such a quick loss for them, we do have this possibility that they will be able to just, goldfish memory. Forget about what happened for the last 20 minutes. Let's focus on this next game. Let's give the people a good showing. Let's make our school proud. So getting into these picks and bans here for UT Tyler and Michigan Tech, it is going to be the Wukong ban again coming out for UT Tyler, followed up by the same exact ban that Michigan Tech had done for that first match. That's Shen.
Yeah, I do really like the Shen pick even more after seeing what happened in that first game. I mean, it looked like UT Tyler were just getting caught out where they really needed the numbers advantage to win some of these fights. Michigan Tech want to take away one of those crucial tools that could get them there with the Shen. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Shen's ultimate, he can teleport and support any player on his team in an instant and give him that tankiness, give him that health. And not only that, but actually physically teleport there. That is a fantastic global way to really support your team. So I do really like Michigan Tech going for this ban. Meanwhile, UT Tyler going for the Wukong and Soraka, just really trying to keep, maybe they have a specific counter pick to Michigan Tech, Wukong and Soraka. I'm not sure what the players play, but it is interesting that they're going for the exact same bans to begin with. I mean, when you're UT Tyler, if you do want a chance to win this, you need to focus on what did Michigan Tech do really well, and you need to take away those resources. So I'm surprised that UT Tyler don't go for a mid laner, or here we go, actually, we do see them going for that Corgi. I want to see UT Tyler maybe take away some of these more hyperactive champions that can scale late game, because that really seemed to be, for me, what cost them a lot. They just got out damaged incredibly hard.
Yeah, a lot of that, like that Akali assassination there. How many times did we see her just completely dive somebody and just take them down without, a care in the world? Like, yeah, I don't care that you're by their tower and I'm a quarter of my HP. I'm just going to jump on you, kill you, and then back off. It is going to be the Echo ban there for Michigan Tech again. So the only new ban that we've seen here is that Corgi for UT Tyler. It is going to be the Jinx pick from
Ooh,
UT Tyler. An
interesting.
interesting pick. This is a character that we've seen Michigan Tech actually play quite a bit. Didn't have luck with it last week, but did the week beforehand. So we have to be interesting to see how UT Tyler uses that to their advantage, see if they've watched any of the material here on Michigan
Ooh,
Tech.
go
It is
for
going to be a Jarvan
Jarvan.
pick for Michigan Tech. So this is Jarvan is something that Michigan or that UT Tyler, I believe, had banned last game. Can you explain to me why this Jarvan pick is potentially significant for Michigan Tech?
Well, Jarvan is one of the strongest junglers, or strongest junglers, excuse me, in the game right now. I mean, that ult, great at isolating their AD carry in the back. For those of you who don't know, Jarvan's ult will just straight up pounce on any player that he really chooses and can isolate them in an unescapable wall for roughly 5 seconds. So against someone like Jinx, who has really good hyperscaling, I do like seeing that pick, and Jarvan having a lot of tankiness naturally, a lot of damage in this current meta. So all the picks, green light for Michigan Tech. And they're going to go for Emilio too as their second pick. Emilio being a good bot lane, or excuse me, supporter in today's meta. It's interesting though, they don't have an ADC to pair it with yet. Meanwhile, UT Tyler go for a
Yeah,
Seraphine.
Seraphine
Very
pick.
interesting. They're going to go for either send this mid or support. Seraphine is one of those champions that can work pretty well in either role. Interesting though, pairing Jinx with Seraphine, that's usually not really seen nowadays. Jinx really wants to have a tanky or a hook, or really an engaged support. So that's a very interesting pick in my opinion. And they're going to round it out with
Yeah,
Volibear for this
Volibear.
first half of the draft.
Lucian for Michigan Tech coming out here. So
So Lucian pairing very well with Emilio. We also traditionally saw Lucian a lot with Nami. So right now, UT Tyler with a bit more of interesting team composition just right off the bat. Volibear is one of those champions as well where you can really build in a variety of different ways. So maybe UT Tyler just trying to go for a bit more flexibility, and whereas Michigan Tech are really going for these meta-defining comps, and well, actually they're going to ban Teemo, so maybe they're scared about this top lane pressure.
yeah,
Meanwhile, UT Tyler banning out the Vex again,
same as last
as we've
game.
talked about, just trying to remove that control that Michigan Tech really seemed to have an edge on in that first game. Uh, the Teemo, I do want to focus on that. That is a little interesting for the Huskies. Teemo is a very interesting top laner. He doesn't really possess a lot of the quote unquote top laner abilities. He's a pretty squishy ranged AP champion. Regardless, though, I mean, Teemo is a very annoying champion to go against, so you can't be argue with that. Meanwhile, the last two bans for both teams is the Yone and the Vladimir, so targeting this mid lane. Now, it looks like Michigan Tech are going to go for the
Yeah,
Azir.
Azir pick coming out here.
Ooh.
So potentially a little bit interesting with what they're trying to build their comp into. Do you feel so far like it's the same as last time with that balanced early game pressure versus late game scaling, or do you think that they're swapping it up a little bit, going for something different?
Well, it does look like they're going to be the strongest in their mid game. I mean, Azir is a late scaling champ. You want to build Leandres, you want to build Nashor's Tooth. But Jarvan is just kind of a beast no matter where you go. And Melio and Lucian, that bot lane is so strong right now. It's going to be really hard for UT Tyler to really have a way to bounce back. And they're going to lock in the Kiana and the
At the
Malphite. So
Malphite.
going with a bit more off-meta picks. But it's going to be a lot more interesting. They're going to go for more tankiness at the cost of maybe more of this damage. Their only main source of damage is going to be Jinx and maybe that Seraphine poke. And in the meantime, Michigan Tech are going to round it out with
The
the standard
Mordekaiser.
Mordekaiser pick in the top lane. One of our top laner, Music Tab's comfort picks here. It looks like it's going to go against the Malphite. So I do like the Mordekaiser versus Malphite a counter pick.
Yeah.
Malphite is somebody who really can scale out of hand if he does get that lead very early. It can be pretty hard though for the Mordekaiser because Malphite's passive does give him that shield, and Mordekaiser might struggle a little bit to hit him, but he does have those tools, his E grab to pull him forward. So all the while, I do think Michigan Tech, they have a bit more of a stronger comp here, a bit more well-rounded. They do have 2 AP, or make that 3 AP with the Melio support, but their ADC and their jungler should provide enough of that 80 damage to really have that balance that UT
Yeah.
Tyler can't really counter against.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what we're coming out with here for Michigan Tech. Like you said, going to have to be A little bit more careful when it comes out to those damages, especially on things like that Mordekaiser, since the Malphite is going to have things like shields, like you had mentioned. But I think that if there's ever a time for us to see this matchup between compositions, it's now, when Michigan Tech has to be feeling themselves after that last game. We're going to be getting you guys here into the action in probably around 5 or 6 minutes. We just started the pick and bans phase in the client, and then we'll wait for that spectator to get the show on the road for you guys. While we're waiting here, a couple things to talk about. The first of which are some things from our generous sponsors. And so I just wanted to, read out a couple of those, tell you guys what's able to have us here speaking to you guys. So first of all, we have Broadway Enterprises. Are you a tech student? If you're watching this broadcast, you probably are, or you're a parent. Do you need to live close to campus? I know that I sure do. So we have places for that. Find the perfect location, live where you want to live, houghtonforrent.com. Once again, that's houghtonforrent.com. And not to be outdone, we also have University Images. Looking to spice up your style? Get some swag with our incredible Huskies logo, or potentially just our university colors. University Images is your official headquarters for authentic Michigan Huskies merchandise. It is university owned, it is university operated, it's University Images. Located in the SDC, or go to bookstore.mtu.edu. Next up on our list is Pepsi. As you can see here, Michigan Tech, we are sponsored by Pepsi. It is the official soft drink of Michigan Tech, as well as all the wonderful products in taste, potentially not for your health, that Pepsi does create for us here at Michigan Tech. It's why we have so many options available in things like our cafeterias. So thank you to all three of those for sponsoring us and for making these type of things possible for us to be able to do, so that we can get you shows like these, so that we can get our players the environments and the equipment they need to be able to, play to their fullest potential. And if you are joining the stream late, or you want to catch up on the latest news revolving around our Huskies, or just want notifications for the next time that we go live, make sure you either subscribe to our YouTube channel, maybe drop us a follow on Twitch. We will have VODs on both of those channels. Leave us a comment. Let us know what your favorite part of the game has been today. Which of your player you think deserves the MVP after that first map. I know for me, it has to be Craftinator. Not getting killed and just completely shutting down UT Tyler was just something special to witness. That is the first time that I've ever seen in a league game that I am observing somebody go completely deathless throughout the entire game. So pretty interesting to see. I know, at least in my game of choice, Valorant, that pretty much never happened. So certainly a interesting event to happen there for the side of Michigan Tech. Hopefully we can see them carrying that energy into this next game. What about you? Who's your MVP?
Oh, my MVP? I would have to agree it would be Craftinator, but I would like to take some more like spotlight on this top side. I mean, this Mundo is usually a very dominant lane pick, and maybe not against someone like Ornn, but Music Tabs just does such a phenomenal job. I mean, we had so much trust as MTU to be able to isolate our Ornn, just leave the Ornn and the Dr. Mundo on an island together, and we saw how that played out. The Ornn just completely steamrolled in the top lane, so maybe they didn't have the biggest macro impact on the game, but I would like to just highlight how much of a skill gap it really was in this top side. I mean, it's very risky to leave your top lane alone completely, especially against a Dr. Mundo, which has that ability to just take over extremely fast. But we had trust in Music Tabs, we had faith in the rest of the team to do their duty, and we see how that played out with the Trundle just being able to be everywhere on the map where they needed to be.
Yeah, it was just incredible to witness. There were times when our jungle was all the way down in the bot lane. We were going for, 3v2s, where it wasn't the mid laner coming down, it was our jungle, or even just 4v2s, so both the mid laner and our jungle were rotating down to help out our ADC and support. And so that was just cool to witness, because like you said, in those situations, you usually be looking towards what's happening in the top lane. How are we doing with that opposing pressure? Are we opening ourselves up to getting ganked in the top lane? Things like that. But Music Tabs just sitting there nonchalantly, just, oh, I'm in a 1v2, and then we just see that, oh, Music Tabs, is dominating. Music Tabs is godlike. He's just completely shutting them down in that top lane. And so we'll have to see if that performance is able to carry out onto this second map. But if he's able to maintain that same energy, maintain that same, playing at peak form, where he's just the force to be reckoned with in that top part of the map, we should hopefully see another pretty quick game coming out on the side of Michigan Tech here, and might even be giving our Huskies, a nice little send-off in a 2-0 following the footsteps of Smash.
Yeah, I mean, that would be absolutely fantastic. Right now, our league team, again, as we've stated in the broadcast, Our record is 1-1. So if we do want to have this kind of domination in our league right now, having a game like that first one is a fantastic way to get there, showing not just our opponents but the rest of the league that the Huskies mean business. We are not here to dilly-dally. We are here to sweep you, and sweep you we will. And we've only seen 20 minutes of the Huskies today, but in that 20 minutes we've seen utter domination. We've seen 36 to 5 kills. We've seen every single person on our team have an amazing game and take advantage of every single opportunity thrown at their way. And if we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg for the Huskies in their skill, I can't wait to see the rest of these league games.
Yeah, it speaks volumes to their mental fortification as well after what happened last week, getting boomed so hard by Ohio State. Just the ability to completely bounce back in the time frame of, under a week. Just be able to say, hey, we know how good we are at this game. We're going to play our game. We're going to do it well. And it's reassuring to see that even after such a pretty big blowout last week that we did suffer at the hands of OSU, just being able to, like I said, bounce back. Just, that last game, it didn't happen. All we have right now is us getting a kill pretty much twice a minute, considering how the last game scoreline would be. So be interesting to see what we see here from Michigan Tech, and getting you guys into the action in just a few seconds here as we're going to be transitioning over as our champions spawn in here. Be interesting to see if we see another early invade go out from MTU. UTT definitely going to be expecting it, I'd say, at this point. Going to be very wary of that bot lane. So it is going to be MTU. We are going to be on red team this time, so something to keep in mind here as we move forward. And it does not look like we are going for an early invade. Both teams opting to spread out here. So just a standard beginning to the game, it appears.
Yeah, so it just looks like they don't want to go for this early engage. They don't really have a lot of good CC for these early skirmishes, where instead you're just going to see them spread out. They don't really want to let UT Tyler take any of this river control. Look at the positions of MTU, all spread out on our side of the jungle. They're not letting any of these opportunities really give into UTT, because maybe they're scared of another early jungle gank. Quite interesting, but we're just going to get no more action. Already a minute into the game. We're about to get into the lane phase, and looks like MTU are going to be rocking. They're not going to have a leash on the Jarvan, though, so maybe the Volibear has a bit of an opportunity to get ahead in this, although I am scared of this Jarvan Volibear matchup. Volibear might be able to get a great invade on the Jarvan if we're not careful about this. So that's going to be definitely something to look out for. And in fact, we already saw Michigan Tech looking out for just not letting that Volibear have any information on what's happening in that jungle side.
Yeah, I saw him just standing in the bush there.
Yeah, but it does look like Michigan Tech are going to be pathing bot. The Jarvan starting on the red buff here. The Volibear starting on the blue. So the Mordekaiser has to be a bit worried about maybe this gank. We don't know that the Volibear is here yet. But I mean, if we have the confidence to pull out the Mordekaiser into this Malphite, then I think we should be all fine in that regard.
Yeah, just the standard opening of the game that we see pretty much every time. Just both teams opting to go for a little bit of poke and prod here. Not wanting to, get down too low.
Though, on the Jinx. Already half HP.
Yeah, good bring down there, forcing him to back off a little bit. Going to be good support coming out from Cran here, just making sure Craftinator stays topped off. Never really a doubt wanting him to put on that same exact performance he did last game.
Oh, hits level 2.
Yes, level 2. It's going to be engaged coming in here for Craftinator and Cran, but just opting to back off, not opting to dive the tower there. So interesting there coming out from them. A little bit of, they want to chase. You can see, that Tej is low. Now at 2 bars,
the heal instantly comes out.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's going to be level 2 for Teaser, though. So MTU looks like just opting to back off in that bot lane. As the fight goes on to the top lane here, there's going to be Music Tab with a little bit more HP than Shamel here on the top lane, but not opting to dive towards that tower. It's going to be a missed hit there from Music Tab, so probably just going to back off a little bit after what we saw. Not wanting to, push his luck, get caught out in the open, especially after how good he was doing last game. Stun this year going to be stunned up by Straw, but Straw going to be walking forwards, pathing back around the side here, not exactly wanting to overextend, offer up their life for no reason, but still going to be at happy to be walking around. So Music Tab's against Shamal in that bottom lane. There's just a lot of poking and prodding here going on for both teams. You can see how much they want to go in for some sort of engage, but neither team feeling confident enough, feeling they have the engage. Oh, but the big flash from Tej, and it's going to be Craftinator brought them to 2 bars here. MTU actually having to walk back. It's going to be a quick little heal out of Cran here, which is going to be pretty big for Michigan Tech. Oh, but Shamal, and this is going to be a big hit out from Music Tabs here. It's going to be Tej in the bottom lane, also down low. So 2 members from UTT going to be, backing off a little bit, licking their wounds as they try not to offer up their extensions here. But she's still opting to play close enough so we can get that XP from the minions here. It's going to be Cran backing off a little bit. You're going to see Summoners and Straw also still duking it out in this mid lane. This is a bit more aggro, I think, than we saw last game. Even after that early invade from MTU in that match 1, we're going to be seeing
but
a
there's a
lot.
mid-gank. Look at the
Going to
Jarvan.
be rooted, and this is going to be the Michigan Tech actually taking first blood once again. So UTT not able to change the tides of fortune, considering how they were last game, but it's a gank coming up here in the top lane on Music Tabs. The flash out from Music Tabs, going back towards that tower.
Oh, the Volibear goes
opting to
in
go for the dive.
solo. He wins.
But he gets out.
Oh,
The
but there's a
dive
Volibear E.
not going to fruition here
gets out.
from UTT. That is going to be a missed opportunity. They may even be kicking themselves, just unable to land that killing blow onto MTU, allowing that channel back to base. And this is just UTT unable to replicate the same early game success that MTU did last game.
And I mean, this is just going fantastic in the side lanes right now for MTU.
Teleport
the
back.
only way that we saw this Malphite get back into the picture was with that early gank from the Volibear. But still, the XP is the same, but MTU should have the CS lead for Music Tabs. And meanwhile, in the bot lane, they don't even need a jungler. That's just a straight solo kill for Craftinator. And we see the confidence right now that MTU have. Their top lane and their bot lane are doing so well. We just see the Jarvan have full confidence, step into the enemy jungle, and gank the Kiana from behind. And it nearly results in a second kill for MTU. And meanwhile, UT Tyler just don't have the weapons. They don't have the damage to do enough to kill either of these players right now. So even though that Volibear with a great gank, that Malphite, because they're so low, from this early engage from Music Tabs, there's just no kills going around.
Yeah, big fight here from Michigan Tech potentially.
No, okay. Goes in.
Yeah, that's going to be a good amount of support coming out here from UTT, but
Dust
Dustro's both down to 2 HP. But yeah, Cran and Craftinator potentially getting cut out a little bit here. Not exactly healthy for UTT, but making sure that MTU is forced to feel the same. A good hit from Mordekaiser in the top lane there as we walk back down to the bottom lane here. Cran brought down to 2 bars here. You can see how much Craftinator in the bottom lane here
mid lane.
but the big play here flash on this onto Sprout.
He flashes forward.
He flashes forward onto the tower, but it does not come to fruition, unfortunately. We are unable to get the dive onto the tower. So UTT going to be backing off. Oh, and Sunless going to be brought down here by Dust Rose. So evening up the kill feed there, 1-to-1. Music Tabs. Oh, but
the Malphite's got nowhere to run.
Not able to run away. Shamal going to be brought down to 2 HP.
But
A big pull, but the flash coming out from Shamal there. Able to escape Mordekaiser into that safety of the towers there. So Music Tab is going to be pretty healthy. Not doing too bad in that department. But Michigan Tech unable to secure that kill now twice in a row. And it is, does Dust Rose want to go for a steal here? You can see that they're watching what's going on, but it is going to be Red Team taking that Chemtech Drake. So once again, as we know from our commentary last game, the Chemtech Drake going to be, reducing the time.
Oh, the Lucian goes in.
But it's going to be big hits on the Tiege here. Okay, so that Chemtech Drake going to be reducing the amount of time that Michigan Tech is affected by things like stuns, things like roots, things like that. So, a little bit of that anti-CC. Important to get that buff early on, and this is now the second game in a row where Michigan Tech has secured that first Drake buff. So, the gold lead nowhere near as drastic as it was last game, being 7 minutes into the game here now. Michigan Tech still with that early advantage when it comes to that dragon.
Now, I do want to see a bit more proactiveness from Nug, I guess. Because when we're seeing our top and our bot laners being so dominant right now, we don't necessarily need the support. I mean, we saw a near 2v3 almost earlier against the Volibear and this bot lane that MTU almost won, but they were able to just escape just in time. I do want to see Nug having a bit more mid pressure. Speaking of mid pressure, there's a fight right now.
Yeah, big fight. Sunless going on a Straw here. This mid lane wanting to be able to go for the fight here. Straw going to be brought down to 1 bar, but Michigan Tech opting not to dive the tower, but it is going to force the channel. Yeah, so the Volibear, the support, jungler here for Michigan Tech.
So they are going to break the ward, though, so Michigan Tech is going to know that the Volibear is here. That's a big root,
though, this is a big root under... Yeah,
Lucian goes in.
Cran and Craftinator fighting here. Tiege brought down to half HP. Good heal, but still not going to be exactly healthy. Michigan Tech wondering if they're going to be able to chase this fight. A big hit from Craftinator. That 2 big hits from Craftinator, continuing that show of firepower from last game. Going to be tagged a little bit in return there by UTT, so opting not to go for the final. But this is a big start of the Dust Rose. This is a 2v2 coming in here. Oh, but both Michigan Tech, Nug, and Music Tabs going to be knocked up. And it's going to be Music Tabs are just the last one standing as Nug is going to overextend a little bit there. And this is 2 members of UTT onto the Mordekaiser. Music Tabs and Blue Team claiming the feat of warfare. So boot buff now going to be down to whichever team is going to be able to take that first turret. A good response though from Craftinator in that bottom lane. Going to be slaying Tiege in that bottom lane. So Michigan Tech not exactly happy about giving up 2 kills at the beginning there, but a good response coming from your last game's MVP Craftinator. And this is also going to be UTT onto the Void Grubs here. So opting to take those down. So Michigan Tech potentially looking for a little bit of tower damage right now, while they sacrificing basically those Void Grubs for a little bit of damage onto that tier 1 tower in that bottom lane. So all the respawns going to be coming in for Michigan Tech. We're going to see that bot lane here, rotating back in, trying to deter Michigan Tech from doing that damage to the turrets there. Not going to stop them from getting the tower down to basically half HP, but going to prevent them from taking it in its entirety.
Yeah, I love that they're just trying to farm these turret plates right now onto Craftinator. Ooh, does he get the reset? Ooh, just in time, manages to get escape back to the fountain. But I love that we're just keeps funneling gold into this Lucian. I mean, when you're going, oh, there's a team fight right now. Straw taken down very low.
Oh, this is Straw, and this, it's going to be a good knockback though. Nug unable to chase and follow up onto that kill. Straw 3 bars here, just diving into the bushes, trying to run away, but Michigan Tech taking the advantage of that low mid laner to do some damage onto that mid lane tier 1 turret here. Music Tabs and the top lane for UTT, exchanging just a flurry of blows here in that top lane. Still that 2v2 poke and prod here in the bottom lane as well. So settling back into basically just a standard rhythm with both teams. Playing decently aggressive. Oh, a big shot from Craftinator down there. This is going to be Craft and Kren both walking forward. Cheese brought down to 2 bars here. Retreating back towards the safety of that turret. And Craftinator's not going to be close enough to be able to get that final blow. So it is going to be a retreat there from Tej. In that top lane also, Michigan Tech, good damage onto UTT. So that Mordekaiser pick potentially, but yeah, that's a big root there coming out on Craftinator, bringing him down to basically half HP. I don't know if UTT wants to fight into this though. Look at how low they are. There is going to be that level up here for them, but that's only going to be getting to level 6, while both members of Michigan Tech are level 7. So, I can hear the Volibear blowing up there.
Now.
Yeah, both jungles.
Oh, but the ult gets the
Craftinator down Tej. That is a big kill. Craftinator continuing his reign of dominance, a term that I feel I've used too much considering how little
but there's a big
so
charm,
far.
and the volleyball goes
the
in.
charm is big. But Craftinator trying to run away.
And
But
the
jungle for Michigan Tech, and it's a shutdown for Michigan Tech. It is Dust Rose chasing onto Cran, but completely isolated. Sunless going to be slaying. Oh, this is such a big fight for Michigan Tech.
The Volibear is isolated.
Nug
His ult
going
running out.
and it's the double kill for Michigan Tech, potentially even looking for a triple kill in this top lane is Music Tabs, opting to back off, but that is a massive fight there for Michigan Tech. Was that just an overextension from the Volibear for UTT? It seems like they got completely isolated.
Oh, there's a solo kill on the
That is crazy. It's the same story that we saw happen time and time again last game. UTT brought down into these disadvantaged situations. Every player feeling as if they need to be the one to go for the hero play. That's a big ult too.
She's going to die.
And Sunless taking down the Jinx. A Punish attempting to come out here, looks like, for the support on the side of UTT.
Is he going to get the Seraphine too?
He doesn't want to die at the tower. Too low to be able to tank that for too long. Not wanting to give up his life here, especially with MTU ahead by those 3 kills. But as I was saying, it's the same issues we saw for UTT coming out here. They are just feeling as if they are, these advantages are slipping away from them. And every player, it feels like, has this necessity to go forwards and do the play that will get them back in the advantage. Maybe it's chasing a risky kill, but every single time with how unstoppable Tech has been in the last game, it just isn't working out for them. They're unable to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, with that team fight that happened in the bot side there, it looked really good for UT Tyler. I mean, we saw MTU's bot side. They did overextend a little bit. The Seraphine hits a nice 2-hit charm with her ult. And it looks like it might go in the way of UT Tyler with the Volibear coming in. But then Nug is there to help support.
And then Craftinator taking down the Jinx as well.
Oh, with the Volibear from behind.
Oh, yeah, Craftinator going to be ISO'd a little bit. Oh, a big blast.
And there's
back.
the ult on the Mordekaiser.
Oh, that Mordekaiser ult. Going on to, but it's going to be a miss on the attack there, but it looks like Music Tab still, and this is just a 3v2. They're chasing the Volibear, trying to run away. Another big ult coming out there, and Craftinator onto Dust Rose, just unstoppable. Oh, big fight going on in the bottom lane here. It's going to be Sunless onto Straw, and this is, Sunless going to be taking on low ISO on the wrong side right now.
Oh, but look at the big flash. He gets the solo kill.
That is a mistake from UTT. It looked like the bottom lane there, or what was the mid lane for UTT, tried to ISO Michigan Tech, get them on the opposite side that they want to be, but Michigan Tech was able to get out and even find the kill off of that. And this is Red Team also going to be with the Hex Tech Drake, so a situation going from bad to worse here for UTT.
It just looks like this Volibear right now is trying to focus too much on helping the spot side. I mean, with a game like, game 1, it makes a lot more sense why you do want to help this Jinx, especially Jinx being one of those hyper carriers that can really have a huge edge on these team fights. But as a result, we see this Mordekaiser now just snowballing into the Malphite. We see this Azir somehow beating the Kiana as a whole level up and already has the Nashor's Tooth with the Sword Shoes. That just does so much damage towards that other mid laner. So while the Volibear does have support and his bot lane is kind of staying a lot more alive, we're still seeing utter domination. And even though UT Tyler, they're pushing back, they're still not going to find anything of the sorts.
Yeah, this is Michigan Tech. Ooh, a fight going on in the bottom lane here. Straw going to be caught out. Sunless actually going to back off just a little bit here. I do have a question. So you keep talking about that Mordekaiser ult. Can you explain exactly what the Mordekaiser ult does and why it's important to use in these fights?
Oh, absolutely. So what the Mordekaiser ult does, and we might see it here actually, but basically you can click on any enemy champion and it'll basically teleport you into an almost alternate dimension. You're basically trapped with the enemy that you ulted in a circle where you gain 10% stat buff from what the enemies had. And this means that if you're somebody who really likes taking 1v1s like Mordekaiser, you can pretty much dominate any person that you ult as long as they're not extremely ahead. So in this backline here, Mordekaiser, if he just ults the Jinx, then that's their bot laner completely taken out of the team fight because they're taken to a completely alternate thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of
Seeing
which,
here,
I mean,
Craftman are going
look
to be
at
taking
that
down. That's going to be a
domination
double
from
kill for
MTU.
Michigan Tech.
Wait, that's an ace for MTU. All 5 members dead for UT Tyler. What happened here?
Just happened there? It feels like so. I think what we saw there was the Mordekaiser for Michigan Tech was walking down from that top lane into the more area of the jungle and actually started getting caught out in a 2v1 with 2 members of UTT coming out to try and assist taking down that MTU player. But all of Michigan Tech, I think, showed up at the same time that UTT called their members in for assistance. And so, ooh, that is...
The surrender vote
Yeah.
failed. Interesting.
Somebody from...
UT Tyler's mentality not at all good right now.
Yeah, perhaps that tilt
it.
setting in just it goes back to, like, as I've kept talking about, it's the hero place, right? Like that's where it starts. You feel like you're losing, you start getting tilted, you feel like you have to go in, be the difference maker for your team. You go for that hero play, it doesn't work out for you. Now the team's frustrated with you.
Oh, the Kiana's ulted into the tower.
Ooh, yep, this is a big fight for Sunless, potentially a 2v1, the
Nug,
jungle.
He ults in.
That's going to be a
That's
big
gonna be a
kill
dead
for
straw.
Nug. And now 4-16, looking like my ranked teammates score a line in Val. Just...
Well, there's the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, the
ult.
Mordekaiser, the
Malphite
ult as you were talking
doesn't have a tower
about.
to back him up.
Yeah, there's
so
nowhere he can
Malphite
run.
Has to take the damage.
Just
just
sitting there.
stands
What
still.
can he do except accept his fate?
Oh, and look on the spot side. That Herald gets popped with the tower already going down.
Yeah,
Oof,
this is just
not good. 3 members dead for UT Tyler. This Herald is gonna claim a tower and then some.
This is just rough.
Oof, that's unfortunate. And look at what we're seeing. Nobody from UT Tyler contesting this bot side. They're instead focusing their attention mid. This Volibear basing has a good opportunity to go for a flank. He doesn't go for it. They don't have that confidence. They don't have the XP. They don't have anything really going for them here. They just allow MTU to get all these resources. But they still have
Herald.
3 UT Tyler members going bot, but just not in time. MTU have already escaped the bot side.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that tier 3 turret too in that bottom lane. Just the Rift Herald getting an additional charge onto that, bringing it down to half HP, and it's just...
MTU's going in.
Oh, the turret going to be destroyed. This is a big fight coming in here. Craftinator going to be, isolated between 2 players. Cran and Craftinator also knocked. Oh yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a punish looking out from UTT, trying to come. This is all 5 members of UTT. The Mordekaiser coming in from the top lane here, turning it into a 4v5, considering that we have 1 MTU player down
but look
there.
at Azir. Look at Azir. He's on the flank.
Yeah, he's on the flank. He's coming up
That's
behind
a huge
him.
pull for Mordekaiser.
If
he
doesn't have vision
in.
here, it's going to
Craftinator
is dominating. This is Nug. This is going to be Shamal also caught out. A triple kill, a quadra kill for Michigan Tech. And what can the Volibear do but ask their team, where the hell did you guys go? I'm in a 4v1. Where are my teammates? It's going to be a single kill coming out for them, but the ace for Michigan Tech, not wanting to let their performance from last game be outdone, they themselves top how quickly they can shut down the hopes and dreams of UTT. We are 18 minutes into the game. We are leading by 14,000 gold. We are leading by 18 kills. We are leading by the same amount of kills that a singular one of our members dropped last game. What more could you ask out of our Huskies?
I mean, we thought the first game was a blowout. Look at this game. We've broken into the UT Tyler's base, and it's been 18 minutes. I mean, it looked so good early on. They had the kills, they had the gold, but everything just spiraled so far down. Maybe it was something about the confidence. Maybe, again, it was about these hero plays. But somewhere along the line, MTU just found the willpower to carry on. And now, in the blink of an eye, it's 23-5 kills. MTU now looking for the Ocean Drink. And yes, Sunless is alone, though.
Yeah, there's a hero play for UTT coming out here.
Oh, that's a two-man ult, but he is done. The Mordekaiser's in the backline to support.
He's just unable to do anything there, but the Mordekaiser, as you
The
said,
Kiana
is going
still
to be
goes down.
shut down here. Not able to escape the range of that turret. Sunless going to be taking them down
The
here.
Music Tab's in a
The
1v3 that he's winning.
This is insane. Music Tab's going to be the big dash onto Gensient, and it's also going to be a double kill coming out. Music Tab's onto Shamal here. Music Tab's now with the health advantage. Gets the pull. It's the triple kill for the Mordekaiser in the top lane. And who dares to stand against the might of a singular man in that top lane? We saw the Mordekaiser in the week 1 for Michigan Tech and how strong they were. But MTU, Music Tabs, showing why those hours of grinding, those hours of practice in the labs pay off, because he can do no wrong.
And now MTU and another team fight, this time in UT Tyler's base. 3 members of UT Tyler now going in, but all of MTU is here.
They're completely here. They want to end the game, and they want to end it right now. UTT with their tail between their legs. Michigan Tech asking, where the hell did you buy your accounts? Because we are shutting you down.
And that's an ace for MTU.
And all 5, the towers falling.
20
Michigan Tech
into
ending this game at 20 minutes. What has happened? Huskies showing why they are the leader of the pack. What a phenomenal performance from our Huskies. That was cinema to witness.
I mean, in a mere normal game time that you would normally see out of one of these league games, MTU have already won this series. 21 minutes in the first game, 20 in the second. We were surprised at the first game. We should have saw this coming from a mile away. The Huskies showing UT Tyler who is boss, not letting them get a single inch of cover in this game. This server belongs to the Huskies.
Yeah, they owned the server. There was UTT can be sitting in their spawn, and they can still feel the constricting chokehold that Michigan Tech has placed around them for that entire game. It's not just a team diff, it's an aura diff. Music Tabs, the 1v3 on Mordekaiser in the top lane. I might not know what the heck is going on in this game 99% of the time, but I can recognize a perfect play when I see it. That was magnificent to witness coming out from the Huskies.
I mean, what a feel-good game for MTU. After losing to a blowout to Ohio State like that, you need these games to bounce back, where you can be the OSU in the server. You can show the other team that we're not here to mess around. We are going to win this game no matter the cost. And we saw that play out exactly as they intended. I mean, when you have these short games, this utter domination, the Huskies are here to prove that they're on top of the league and they are nowhere close to the competition.
They have smashed through the ceiling, and it looks like, are we going to be getting a player interview? Yes, we are going to be getting a player interview. Let's go. So, why don't you come on here, yeah?
Sure, yeah.
And introduce yourselves.
How's it going, stream? My name's Kent. I'm the league captain. I was the AD carry for the game.
Yeah, I have a question for you. That first game, we were flawless in our scoreline. How many kills did we end up in that first game?
I think it was 11.
I think it was more than that. It was at least 13.
At least 13.
I know, because it was 13 by the time you guys went in for your final dive onto the Nexus, and that was the last time that we saw your scoreboard show up there. But that
at least
was
13 then, yeah.
just wonderful to witness. So
Well, yeah, the Kog'Maw pick, it was their AD carry's best pick. So I practiced that all week just to feel it. So
that VOD
unfortunately for that
reveal.
guy, unfortunately he got his pick stolen and styled on him a little bit.
yeah, I think it was a little bit more. You don't have to be that generous.
yeah.
Like it was a little more than just a little bit of styling there. I do have to ask. So last week, rough game against Ohio State. What do you guys feel like your secret is, or maybe you don't want to spill your secrets, but how do you guys go from getting kind of boomed like that from, I would say, getting decently blown out by OSU to being able to deliver an even harsher blowout against UT here. What does it look like from the team side, recovering and building into what we saw today?
So after the loss against OSU, we really like the tone shifted for this week of practice. People were a lot more serious. People cared a lot more about playing like correctly as opposed to like, well, I'm just trying to get the kill. I'm just trying to ego, whatever. So we had people playing a lot more seriously this week. So the prep felt a lot better. Also, this team is on kind of the opposite end of the rankings compared to OSU. OSU was near the top. This team's near the bottom.
Yeah.
But even still, we had a lot stronger practice all throughout the week. We learned a lot of our new picks. Saw some of them today. Well, Kog'Maw being one of them with the Brown. So it was a very good week of practice. I think that attributed to the win in a big way.
Yeah. What was it when you guys were going through your picks and bans there? What was it that you tried to, I guess, focus on against UTT here? Is there anything that they're known for that you guys specifically trying to counter? Maybe not just specific particular agents, but like how they like to build their team and fight?
Yeah. So we noticed immediately that they were looking for that Kog'Maw. They were looking for the Kog'Maw. Yeah. They also were looking for an Ornn. They had an Ornn one trick in the top lane. So of course, game one we took both of them.
Yeah.
That was kind of just the plan for game one. Was you put them on comfortable picks, take their picks from them. And that works out pretty well. After game one, we realized that their bot was kind of a weak link, and so game two, we drafted a really powerful bot lane, a really like snowball-heavy bot lane with the Lucian, playing hyper-aggressive. Just got such a massive lead in the bot lane that we were able to snowball from the game.
Jinx couldn't do anything. It was
I mean, they picked Jinx plus Seraphine. If Seraphine puts her crowd control on cooldown, I can just walk up on them. Nothing they can do about it. So it was really just they picked their characters, and I saw the opportunity to just play the most aggro character in the game, really, and just stomp on them.
Yeah. So all this started at the beginning of game one. What made you guys want to go for that early invade?
Yeah, so Ohio State invaded us last week. That didn't feel good.
Yeah, we did notice that.
Yeah, so we decided we would invade, and it felt good.
Yeah,
scored a kill on
how
it.
That works out.
You also get control over the bot lane bushes there, which can be good for certain bot lane comps. But yeah, getting that kill was huge, and it was on the 80 carry, which is big. I got reset for it, so that was good.
Yeah. So at near the end of that second game there, Griffin, music tabs for those in the stream here.
Oh yeah.
A 3v1 on Mordekaiser.
Yeah, that was nuts.
What was it feeling like in the call as that was happening?
Well, our mid laner was there at the start, died immediately, but he was there. It was 2v3. Trust me, it was 2v3. Yeah, we kind of just were like, they're all like, it's a 4-man top. It's 2 of us. We're gonna lose the fight. We'll push mid and get resources mid, and then slowly the kills start. And ally slain, double kill, triple kill. You're just like, what is going on down there? We tap up, he's killed them all by the end of it.
It was
very surprising. It was a very hype moment.
It was really cool to watch there. I could just tell that the vibes got to be great after that, especially with. Is there any questions you have, Connor?
Yeah, so, I mean, the team mentality. I mean, you guys had an utter blowout in this first game. What was it like having to sit down and just really embrace that moment? You're being stomped by OSU one week, and then this next week being the OSU of the server. Yeah,
it felt really fantastic, but it was almost to the point where I had to get my team to calm down. Everybody's like popped off. They're like, dude, I'll just pick whatever into them. I was like, no, we got to still play our game. But it was whiplash kind of. Going from last week to this week, it's just crazy to go from losing like that to winning like this. It feels good.
All right, now is this a statement towards the other teams in the league to watch out for the Huskies?
Oh, we're totally coming. We're coming for everybody in the league. We're coming back for OSU as well.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear. Easy 2-0 for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm here for it.
I mean, after seeing a game like this, it's kind of hard to believe that it wouldn't be a 2-0.
Yeah, that was really good. Is there anything else that you want to share just about your feelings about the game in general? How you're feeling about the season so far, about your team?
Yeah, season's been doing good. Next week we got another easy game. The team we're playing next week lost to this team.
Yeah.
So it should be a pretty easy game next week. Really just building back up for playoffs near the end of the year. Really trying to get that game back on OSU and some of the other higher teams in the league.
Yeah, and then my last question for you would be, so you were our chosen MVP for map 1 just because you just embarrassed UTT there.
Yeah.
Who do you think would be your MVP for map 2? The other 4 players if you had to choose. Not to pick favorites. This is just.
Well, I can't pick myself.
You can't pick
myself.
One MVP.
I think it's got to be music tabs then.
Yeah,
it's gotta be. The Mordekaiser's so oppressive, and every time he's talking, he's like, "Where do you need me to go?" I'm like, "Just go inside lane. Nobody can stop you. Like, you can just push for free. Nobody's gonna stop you."
Yeah, awesome. Well, if that's all the questions that we have here, if that's all the thoughts that you have, thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, no problem.
That was really cool to witness.
Yeah, it was great. Great games.
So yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Good luck in the weeks ahead.
Thank you.
Step to the side here. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in here for this stream. We hope that you guys appreciated what we were able to witness today. A bit of a shorter one for you guys, but that's only because the Huskies statement they came out with was a shocking one. Shocking for UTT, I should say, because they can't feel good about themselves after that. But, you know, hopefully with a little bit of rest, recuperation, they will bounce back. And see some good games coming out of them as well as we get later into the weeks of this league here. So we wrap up here for you guys. Just want to give one last thank you to our generous sponsors for making all of this possible. A big shout out and thank you to you guys for tuning in, supporting our players. And I invite you to drop a comment, leave a follow, whatever you need to do to stay in tune with whatever's happening on Michigan Tech's network. So I've been Aiden.
And I've been Connor.
And thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great night.